Hello and welcome to this video whereby I'll be showing you the differences between the brand new Nintendo 3DS XL, I don't know what they were thinking of calling it new, I don't know, 3DS 2 or I don't know what they were thinking of calling it that, but there we go. Nintendo are notorious for calling things funny names, but either way I thought it was long overdue. This came out April time this year I think, but this is the new console and this is the old console. Straight away you can see, or can you see, there are absolutely no differences. No, there are some differences. The cameras are a little bit smaller on the newer one and there's not that, which I think is the microphone. Size wise, the newer one is, it's difficult to show, but it's looks slightly bigger. Definitely taller, and it does look bigger. So there you go. Thickness wise, again, probably a little bit thicker. So the new one and the old one, immediately you can see the differences, very striking. On the top it's got the camera, but it's got this new sensor. The smaller one has this as well, whereby it tracks where your head is, so it gives you 3D wherever you're kind of looking. It follows your head and it works really well. And if you haven't already picked up a 3DS because you were a bit concerned about the 3D effect and, well, how pants it was on the old one, because it was in a way, you had to be in a certain distance away, certain angle for it to work, and then you had to maintain that. And on a handheld console that's extremely difficult to do. If you're on the train, in a car or wherever, it's difficult just to maintain that head, you know, consciously keep your hands and everything in the exact same position. This eliminates that problem. This little infrared sensor tracks your head, and it kind of does it in the dark as well, which is cool. Speakers are bigger on the new one. I don't know if I think I've heard it's a little bit louder too. The 3D effect is in the same place. You can have it off or all the way to the top. Volume though is handy. It's on the screen there. The pads themselves haven't really changed. They're still in exactly the same position, although this bottom area has changed. On the new one you only get the home button. On the old one you get select and start, and there's the home. Mic's in roughly the same position though. You've now got your start and select on the new one there, which is a bit odd, but it looks like the X, Y, B and A buttons are in the same place as they were before. However, you've got this nub, this addition, and it does work. I've used it on Zelda, I've used it on a few other games. It does work as a viable camera option. It's a little bit like your one that you have on a laptop or something like that, but the positioning is a bit shoddy. In my opinion, I would have had these buttons a little bit further down, have the start and select probably in the same place, but have the thumb nub either bigger or down a bit. I mean, it would have been great if you had another one of those there and you had the buttons slightly lower at an offset angle, but that's probably one of the reasons why I don't work at Nintendo. You've got different lights now. Instead of you've got your Wi-Fi light there, and I think before it's there. You can just see it there. So you've now got it there, and then you've got your charge if it's charging, and then you've got your power button there, which again is a bit odd. I would have preferred it on the front, like you had it on the old model. There is just too easy for you to press it, because it does stick out a bit. It's too easy for you to press it unintentionally in a bag. Another thing I'm not so keen about is the stylus. It's thicker and it's shorter than the other one, as you can see. Thicker stylus means it's easier to hold, I suppose, for people with smaller hands. So maybe this is aimed more at children. Well, that's just my feelings of it anyway. It's thicker and it's shorter. I think this is aimed for smaller hands. This is much better in my opinion, and I think that's one of the biggest downsides on this, is that the stylus, because a lot of games still require the stylus, they've made it shorter and they've put it vertical instead of horizontal. It was better to just pull it out at the side, and also if it's on the bottom and you're playing along, it might accidentally fall out, or you're pulling it down when you've got the console in that position. Did you see that? Gravity's going to grab it off you anyway. Whereas if it's on the side, yes, you're holding this down anyway, but as you can see, I'm using it and it's not going anywhere until I want to take it. So again, these are multi-million dollar companies, but a lot of things still escape them. That's kind of like the differences there. Screen wise, I think it is exactly the same screen. Picture wise, I think it's about the same as well in terms of quality. So there you go. They've still got the satisfying 2 clicks, and the third one, 1, 2, and that one at the end. Where the cartridges, again, another fault in my opinion, is that they put it at the bottom. So you're playing along, you switch your console off, you don't turn it round and then take the cartridge out. You'll probably keep it like this, do that, and it does keep it for a little while, but then there's just an ability for you to just drop this on the floor like the stylus. So it's much better in the middle right there. There's no reason why you can't have that charge there at all, or even there. So you can just put it into a charging dock like so. So that sucks a little bit too. What they do have is they do have extra buttons. They've got this ZL and ZR button, and you've got the camera buttons. Now these shoulder buttons are a lot nicer. They just feel nicer than the older ones. But again, you still got your infrared port as well. Another thing that this has got is the Amiibo NFC, or whatever you want to call it, where you put your Amiibo on it and it can use that that data and things. So that's another kind of feature. I forgot to say that these cameras kind of stick out a little bit. These are all flush. On the back, not much has changed, although now for your memory card, which in here, I don't think I have one. Oh yes I do, yeah. Got a little memory card, and that came with it, so it came with a 4 gig memory card, which is just awesome back then. More than enough to download some games and things. Here, you have to take the back off. So if yours gets full or whatever, you have to take the back off, and yeah, it's a bit of a palaver. I think that's poor. If you're going to have something like a memory card, you should have it on the side where you can just take it out and all the rest of it, have it, rather than having to disassemble the console itself just to get it data storage. I think that's pretty poor. So they're all the big differences. As you can see, there's a lot that has changed for the bad, in my opinion. But there's also a lot that's changed for the good. The good points are that it just feels nicer in the hand. Weight-wise, I think it might be a little bit lighter. It just feels nicer. The buttons are a lot nicer. Sound is louder. It's worth, if you've already got one of these, it depends how much of the 3D you use. If you use a lot of the 3D for games, then it's worth your upgrade just for that alone. If you don't use the 3D, and you only play Pokemon or other games that don't really use that much, then there's no point in upgrading, because there's not a huge amount more that you get. But if you do use the 3D a lot, it's definitely worth a big step up. And of course, if you've got a large 3DS game collection and you like the different consoles, it's probably worth upgrading anyway. I hope you found this useful with all the changes that they've made and the differences. There are other videos out there obviously, and this is a bit late to the party, but I just thought I'd put this out there just to give you like an in-depth kind of look at the changes that they've made, for good and for bad. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. Thanks for watching. Take care.